Unknown killer is still at large. Eyewitnesses have had sightings of a masked man holding a meat hook while carrying a corpse of a 12-year-old boy. Nobody knows who or what the killer is. If you have any information on this case, please contact your local police station. I read that from my local newspaper, and the memories of that night have came back to me. The look of his horrifying and disfigured face. I remember lying on my bed, on the verge of sleep. I felt as if I was being watched by someone or something. I opened my eyes, looking around the room, and nothing. Just nothing. Then I heard a voice of a child whispering, "Run away! Run!" My eyes shot open. I saw a silhouette in the window. It charged towards me. Then it all went black. That's all I remember when I woke up. I was in a hospital bedroom, and the nurse came in. "You're finally awake. Turns out someone tried to stab you," she said with a strange facial expression. I looked around my body, seeing a hook-shaped wound in my chest and arm. "At least your neighbors called the police in time. You would have been done for." I couldn't believe what really happened, but when I was fit to come back home, I picked up the newspaper, and lo and behold, there was the article said above. I needed to find out more. Who was the killer? Why me? Why am I still alive? I needed answers. For the past 3 weeks, nothing much has happened, and I didn't get much sleep. And when I would get nightmares of that face. I'd run, but it would stay there, just staring at me with that look that could drive a man insane. I always kept my guard for the most simple things, such as washing my hands or getting something from the refrigerator. I thought I could shrug this off and get on with my life, so I started working on my laptop. Then I went on the internet looking for answers. I needed to know who this person was and put him in jail. That's when I met on a forum in my local area asking questions, but then my computer crashed. Completely beyond repair, I went to the local Best Buy looking for a new laptop, but it was closed. On a weekday, ironically. On the way home, I saw a man selling one in perfect condition. It looked like it was never been used, and he only wanted $50. I thought this was a bit shady. The man had a weird smile every time I said mine broke. But I bought it anyways and went home. I loaded with all the backups and had on disks and flash drives to make sure it worked good as new. I was decoding all the files, making sure everything was in order, but then I came across a YOU.wmv file I had no idea I had. I right-clicked and see when it was made. When I saw the date, the memory came back. It was the day of my attempted murder. I had to watch this, and when I clicked it, the computer blew a screen saying there was an unknown error. I just had to watch it. I found the flash drive the file was on and went to the old computer in the back room. This time, it came up. Just a plain black screen with static, and this went on for a good 5 minutes. When I fast-forwarded through the content, there was nothing but a black screen. When the last second of the video played, I saw a brief flash. I rewound the video. I saw the most graphic, disgusting pictures I have ever seen. It was a picture of a mutilated child. I nearly vomited my roast beef sandwich I had earlier. I wish I had never seen the picture, but at this point, I knew this killer is a child murder. When the video was completely over, I heard glass shatter from the upstairs. I went upstairs not knowing where it came from, and when I went to my bedroom, I saw a flash drive on the floor. There was a note too that went along with it. "Here's your answer." The drive was stained with blood. The paper label on the drive had simple text "You." If these were the answers I needed, I could have the maniac put to justice. I ran into the computer room and popped the drive in. The only contained file that I saw was YOU.wmv. Holding back my fear of the inevitable, I clicked on the file, I sat back, and got prepared for what's to come. The video came on. There was static and the usual shimmers you'd see on an old TV that has no signal. Finally, content came about. I saw a chair. Just a chair in a room with a white wall in the background. Someone came with a shot. It's about time. My eyes widened. It was a killer. He had a ski mask on, and you could hear the constant whining of a child in the background. He grabbed the young one and bound in a chair like how an executioner would to a prisoner who's being executed in an electric chair. I think I knew where this was going. The child looked as if he was 12 years old. He looked confused and he was bawling, "Why?" The man came back into shot, holding a bottle with the words "Yummy Juice" on it. He poured some of the liquid on the ground. It sizzled and burned holes into the floor. It was sulfuric acid. He poured some onto the child. The kid's skin bubbled and began to blister, and the youth screamed in agony. But that's not the worst that happened. He shoved the bottle into the mouth of the kid as the child began to wail and vomit blood. You could hear the bubbling and hiss of the acid burning his insides. The killer took the bottle out of his mouth and poured the rest of the contents into the child's face. The skin began to melt off, showing how the mouth of the child had completely burned to a bubbly, blistered vomit-inducing fleshy mold. Thankfully, the bottle was finally empty. You could tell the killer was sadistically ecstatic with joy, seeing how much pain he gave the child. He went off-screen, and the child began attempting to scream for help. But the acid had burned his vocal cords and he couldn't speak, but occasional peeps from the last few threads that were left. You could tell he was in horrendous pain. Finally, the man came back on a shot with a meat hook. He swung it around and finally finished the job with a hook right to the head. Chunks of brain and skull splatter on the wall. That was when I vomited. I thought it was over. 9 minutes had passed, but there was still about 2 minutes left. He unstrapped the child and threw him to the ground and sat down in the chair as he brutally murdered him in cold blood. He sat there for 30 seconds when he finally took his mask off, showing me that his figured face that brought me many nightmares, and then began to speak with a menacing death growl. "You may not know me, but I know you. By the power of Satan, I have finally got the ability to kill. I've seen you and thought you'll be perfect for my hook. I think you will get the answers you want by the laptop salesman you met today. Those songs aren't the wind. Turn around." The computer screen went blue and then crashed. I saw a reflection from the screen, seeing a dark figure. I turned around, saw him just chuckling and swinging around his bloody meat hook. He said to me, "This'll be fun. I'll make this long and painful." He lunged to me, but was caught short by a gunshot. I saw the laptop salesman with a hook wound in his stomach. The shot gave me the smile he gave me when I bought the laptop. He looked at me. I felt relief, but that relief turned to fear when he pointed a gun to me. He walked slowly towards me. Then he calmly said, "I'm going to have to kill you both." I knew he wasn't kidding around. He slowly crept towards me. I thought my life was over. In an act of courage, I grabbed the bloody meat hook and swung it at his head. His brain matter scattered all over the wall. He took his last breath and finally fell to the ground. When the police came to recover the bodies, they picked up the body of the salesman. Something fell out. A USB drive. I picked it up. It said, "You." I didn't want to live those moments again, so I burned it along with the laptop he sold me. But the USB wouldn't burn.